Xbox really has went from the juggernaut of gaming, one of the biggest brands, one of the most notable and beloved things in gaming history, to literally, I hope we have a lukewarm, not interesting year, because that means that the gamers are at least not gonna make fun of us for being useless. That is one of the most impressive downfalls I have honestly ever seen.
Let's talk a little bit about Xbox's upcoming schedule here. This comes from The Verge, who, as you can see here, has a daily newsletter, and they're like, hey, you want to keep reading? Give us money. So we're going to pure
I don't even understand how The Verge is still a thing.
Xbox for this one because they have a pretty brief summary of what's going on here. These are the Xbox release windows for a ton of games. Now, if you've been watching Xbox this year, you know that they have a lot on the way. It is the year of the four horsemen. So you've got your Halo, your Gears, your Forza, and they consider Fable now one of the four horsemen, which I thought.
No one expects Halo to be good. Gears of War is gonna be literally woke shit trash, everyone knows that. Well, to be honest, Halo is also gonna be woke, but above everything, Halo is just gonna be extremely not impressive. This is what everyone believes. Forza? Who has ever cared, honestly? It's a racing game. It's a niche thing, okay? If you like Forza, that's nice, but it has never been a massive thing. It's a niche thing. Even if it succeeds, which I honestly probably think it will, because, I mean, you can't really mess up a racing game that much, can you? And the coup de grace, Fable. Fable is gonna be one of the saddest look shit receptions in for the last 10 years on Xbox at least. Fable, it looks like a complete shit show. I have covered it pretty thoroughly. All the information we have about it is massive red flags. From the developers who openly lie, oh, we like the previous Fables. And then they literally say, yeah, we're abandoning every single thing that made Fable into Fable. They literally are proud of the fact that there's no more good and evil in Fable. Fable has no shot. The mechanics, the everything, the story elements that they have demonstrate to us. Not even the fact just that the Fable character looks disgusting and ugly, which, you know, gamers very much love obviously playing with ugly characters because of course not. No one loves playing with ugly characters. Oh my god. Fable is going to be a disaster. The fact that this is going to be considered a big release for Xbox just makes it so much more worse, honestly.
Was really interesting because I always loved Fable. It was one of my horsemen, but I didn't know Xbox thought of it that way. But after seeing the Fable reveal, it makes a lot more sense because that game's making some.
We watched the Fable release from Matty, by the way, what he had to say about it, and it was garbage dribble, okay? This guy is either delusional or that check is clearing pretty fast.
Noise, some really good noise, which is awesome to see that Xbox finally might have like a bona fide win on their hands without like any strings attached. But that game does obviously have to deliver. But that's just
no, the combat just looks like Timu slop, honestly. So some of the combat is like, wow, seriously, Unity. Unreal Engine 5 Asset Store has better combat for $5 than whatever the hell these people have made.
Piece of the pie. Remember, Xbox owns Bethesda. They own Activision. So on top of these four games, which is more than enough.
Which are two things that we know that Microsoft is actually very not happy to have bought, because they spent almost 90 billion on nothing. Yes.
For a calendar year. You've also got like a Call of Duty. You've also got whatever Bethesda.
Underperformed terribly, the worst selling Call of Duty of all time. And the developers who were so proud of themselves and glazing themselves by saying, oh, Call of Duty is too big to... It failed. It literally failed.
Is getting up to here. And then we even saw at the recent developer direct, like here comes Double Fine shoving a game out. So when are these all dropping is a really important part of the conversation, because one thing that Craig Duncan, the head of Xbox Game Studios, talked about is all these games need a release window. And that gets even more difficult when the holiday period is going to be gobbled up by GTA 6. Which is coming out this November, and it seems like, based on what Take-Two's saying, they're doubling down. They said marketing plans are coming into fruition this summer.
Are we expecting it to actually drop this November, this year? I mean, there's a chance it drops extremely late in the year, but I don't know. GTA 6 is still the horseman of no one knows when it's launching.
Get ready, like here it comes. They're going to start taking your pre-order money. So it feels like we can lock that in. And obviously, if you're Halo, which has an anniversary this year, right next to where GTA would be launching, you got to respond to that if you're Xbox. So we have the report from The Verge. Now we're on pure Xbox here. And this is what they write. The Verge's Tom Warren has shed some more light on this today in a new report pointing there's a big effort internally for Microsoft to release a new Forza, Fable, Gears, and Halo game in 2026. Warren says that Halo Combat Evolved is going to be aiming to launch in summer 2026.
Again, I don't know how many people are even remotely excited about Halo. Halo has completely burnt all cultural relevance almost at this point. It's just bad in general. The TV show was bad. That Blast game was bad. Everything was bad about it.
Things stand while Gears of War E-Day is scheduled for some point in the second half of the year. Xbox is...
Now, granted, I kind of do want Gears of War because obviously the Locusts and the Lambit on all of the evil is not going to be evil. They're just going to be misunderstood as per usual modern day slop writing. So I do kind of want to see that, how they rewrite the history of Gears of War into, oh wait, it's actually humans who were the bad ones all along. Especially those white and male ones, man, those are the really bad ones.
With Xbox keen to avoid being too close to GTA 6. The quote is, I understand Microsoft has a good idea of when both should launch, but is also keen to avoid being too close to GTA 6 on November 19th. So yeah, this is the date everyone's dancing around. I'm really curious when the dust settles, what the window of time will be where nothing else is happening except GTA 6. Like, will we actually have a point in a holiday calendar where it's literally just GTA 6 for like a 2-week stretch? No one else wants to be in that kind of that blast zone, basically. That said, though, Halo is the most interesting one here. Halo Campaign Evolved comes out. Originally, we were thinking end of this year because that's the anniversary of Xbox 25 years. It launches with Halo Combat Evolved. You're going to do that again on November 15th, right? Wrong. Halo Campaign Evolved is coming out. I hate the name Campaign Evolved, so I apologize if I trip up on that word. But that's coming out summer 2026. I'm a little iffy on this one. All right. This gets beyond any concerns people had about like sprinting, lore, new campaign missions, that sort of stuff. It's really because of my co-host, Lord Cognito. When I saw this game, right, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, in some ways this is uglier than the original, but that's kind of me being a little pretentious. But
well, yeah, everything that is going to be created with Halo in mind in forever now is going to be worse than the original.
When he started to talk about performance concerns, frame rate was really bad. It didn't control well. There was like latency input delay. I when I started to hear those things, I'm like, oh boy. And again, this was a project that, as we've read before, Halo Studios has had issues with this, which the sky is blue, grass is green. Like, I'm not surprised by any of this, unfortunately. But it doesn't seem like a game that's really, from what we've heard with previews, ready for summer. It feels like a game that instead is being put there because it's the only window where it could breathe. And I hope I'm wrong.
It's probably being put there because they're desperate. Me know that Microsoft is looking at gaming currently in a very unfavorable light because the revenue is not there, the money is not there, the future potential is not there. Pretty much anything negative you can associate with gaming and Xbox and Microsoft in general is just not there. I mean, Microsoft is literally currently forced to resort to the pretty much last tactic they have in telling people that they are the kings of gaming, and that is, well, everyone is the most popular operating system in the world is our Microsoft Windows. So obviously we have a huge pull in gaming. Yeah, how's that? Yeah, really? Well, true. Most people are using Windows, but that doesn't mean that you have any say on what we do with gaming. Everyone hates the Microsoft Game Store or whatever the fuck it's called. Those things are horrible. Okay, you have lost all relevancy, and since what's his name from India got promoted to head of Microsoft, everything has been going downhill pretty fucking fast, obviously. Reasons. I'm not pointing. You're a bad man. Anyway, Microsoft has been going downhill so fast. YouTube has bugs that have never existed before. New features are even worse than before. I mean, at this rate, Microsoft is gonna pull a fucking Skype on us, okay? They're gonna destroy it as they did with Skype when they decided, hey, we need to make more than 5 cents off of this bad boy.
I want this game to be great. For those who don't know, Halo 1 is like my favorite. I love Halo 3. That's like right there next to it. But Halo 1, the amount of times I've replayed it, so many memories. You will hear me wax poetic about that game numerous times this year, and hopefully for good reason. What I want with this remake is with these new prequel missions they're adding and the new bells and whistles they're adding, is for me to be like, and
Oh boy, does anyone want prequel missions? Again, how can we make the humans the evil ones in Halo? Oh boy. That's probably what they're gonna do. That's why they want to add prequel missions.
that's why that game is my go. And they added to it. They made it better. That's what I'm hoping for. But when I hear that they're launching this soon, I already worry about the optimization, the frame rate, that sort of stuff. So we'll see there. Gears of War E-Day being in the second half of this year is also interesting because we now know that Fable's taking up an autumn slot. That can go anywhere from September to November. We now know Xbox is keen on avoiding GTA 6. Fable looked like it was in kind of rough shape already because of its frame rate. So would October be that game's month? Is Gears a December game? If it's in the second half of the year, is it a July game? Like, does it fall in September? I don't know. It could fall in any of these months.
Oh, it doesn't matter when Fable is released, it's cooked.
But what Xbox is going to have with all of these games coming out is if they're trying to take 1 month out of the year, they're going to shotgun blast one way or another. This is something I have talked about so much with them, is that they need to get better at giving their games time to breathe, because last year we saw it. You had your Ninja Gaiden 4, your Outer Worlds 2. On top of that, you had Keeper get buried, and then there was the ROG Ally. This was all in like a 2-week span, something like that. It's way too much. So already their release schedule is like really interesting on a content level, but I just hope these games get time to breathe, because a lot of them have potential. Like a Halo campaign remake has a lot of potential. Gears coming back in this way, bro, like Dom and Marcus again, that's huge. I hope they make that a big deal. It makes me wonder if that's going to be the developer direct game for this year for the summer showcase. So that's just 2 games on their calendar. You could have a whole conversation about that, which we just did, but there's more here. They said beyond the big 4, it's believed that Double Fine's Kiln will be releasing April 2026, and new Starfield content will also arrive during that month.
Oh god, I forgot there's Starfield content. That's something that we need to talk about probably tomorrow, honestly. But yeah, Starfield is getting a new expansion, boys. It is confirmed and it's coming to PlayStation 5. Oh boy, the PlayStation fans are probably, they don't know what to do with their excitement.
We first heard about planned improvements for Starfield back in December, and then earlier today it was suggested that a PS5 release could happen in April as well. Obviously, as I've mentioned before, I've seen the Starfield update early. I've not been told when it was coming or anything like that, so I'm just going to stir right around that one. Just get out of the way here, because I don't want to say anything wrong or people think I'm like going to drop information on it. But we're seeing that new Starfield content is going to be on the way in a couple of months here, which this feels long overdue. I do think like before.
I can't wait to the golden days of returning to 2 or 3 negative Starfield videos a day, boys. Man, those were the days, my friends. I thought they never end. That's a song. Anyway, yeah, Fable's cooked. Starfield is going to have an expansion, and I mean, do you think it's going to have even a less players than in the previous expansion? I don't know if that's possible, but I mean, hopefully. I want Starfield to set new records of nepotism. That's what I want to do. And, well, for everything else, again, Halo, bad. E-Day, probably Vogue slop. Forza Horizon, probably going to be a success, but I mean, it's not expected to be the biggest thing in the multiverse, okay? It's just a racing game. Racing games are cool and whatnot, but they have a smaller audience, okay? Racing games are niche things. Even if Forza is one of the biggest racing things, I mean, there's pretty much nothing else out there, so there you go. In any case, Xbox looks absolutely cooked. There is nothing that even looks remotely positive about it, okay? There is just nothing to hope for if you're Microsoft. Your gaming division is cooked, and you know it. That's the best part. So now they are just trying to avoid losing money. Pretty much that seems honestly to be the strategy. Expect probably another price hike for the Game Pass in the latter half of the year or maybe the start of the next year. Again, I was right about the previous price increase, so judging the way that Microsoft everything's going with Game Pass and Xbox and Microsoft currently, it seems like, well, we are definitely overdue for another price increase, because what else can they do, honestly, right? Anyway, that was Mr. Matty Plays. Well, in this case, Mr. Matty Slop. 10 out of 10. Bye.